Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our final C-Class bout over 5 1.5 minute rounds of action. Would you welcome first into the blue corner, representing Warriors Gym, Charlie Needham. 'And would you welcome his opponent into the red corner, representing Lions Gym, Buddha Limbo. 1.5 minute rounds of C-Class action. Needham in the blue, Limbo in the red. With Danny Kendrick, and Danny, our last C-Class bout tonight sees Charlie Needham from the Warriors Gym take on Buddha Limbo from Lions, and already at C-Class level I've been so impressed with the quality tonight.
Yes, great stage for the amateurs. They've lived up to it in many aspects. Some of the fighters have proved lots of different things of Thai boxing that we like to see. Now we've got two fighters that are going to just finish that off and lay it down and set us up for what's going to be a great few main events of this card. This is what I'm loving, Danny, the way we're going up through the levels and then to a final A-class card that no one would want to miss. As good as any I've seen in this country, that final card. And we'll talk about the main event later, because I know you've got a lot to say on that with your experience in Thailand as well. And you know, again, we've seen so many times the early start, the fast pace, and it's Limbo that hits the canvas. Well, Limbo very solid in the legs there, you can see. If they go to war on the legs, I think he's going to come out on top on that competition, but looks a little bit more lively here, does Needham. Yeah, looked to take the standing leg there, Needham, but just not quite in range. But as you said, just probably the liveliest start, and does so again across the back of both legs there of Limbo. Yep, he's got explosiveness, hasn't he? You can tell that already. Obviously take a bit of paint, absolutely saturated in ink. So, yeah, when you mentioned about that, being able to take pain, you'll notice I haven't got any ink on me whatsoever, Danny. That's why I'm sat this side, and that's why I've made a living commentating. You have moved into the commentary. You've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. That's why it's so great having you alongside me there, because I've got no ink, I haven't got that experience, but I can talk. Yeah, of course, it's you've got to be tough mentally, of course, these fighters. And now, oh, he's done well there. Good right kick to the leg, but then push kick with the left as well. Setting up to be a good fight, Malcolm. And with Limbo, you mentioned about the dynamics of Needham. With Limbo, it looked like a more traditional Thai-style fight from him, didn't it? The measured way he approached it. As you said, that last combination, very strong and good, but worked his way in. Very sort of like traditional, in contrast to the way Needham came straight at him. Yeah, he came out of the traps very fast. Obviously fired up in the changing room, ready to come out. Some fighters are nervous as they get in the ring. Some fighters can't wait to get in there. He's obviously come in there, can't wait to get on with the action. But in a very experienced sort of fashion, he just walked through that round nice and easy, didn't take any punishment. And then just before that round ended, he went bang, bang, bang. Listen, I'm the other side of the ring, and this is going to be a fight, my friend. And Danny,
we know that in any fight discipline, judges, they're swayed by those last moments of a bout. When they're sat there with their pencil, it's a tough job. And when you're sat there with that pen or pencil and you're agonising, then suddenly one guy goes, look at that. It can be key, no matter what's gone before.
All the time in the back of your mind in a fight as well, especially when you're firing a lot of shots. You're thinking, what can I do here that's going to stand out?
So a nice contrast of styles already here in round 2 of potentially 5 1.5 minute rounds.
Newfound respect from both fighters here now. Just a little bit more careful when he approaches. Switches well on the lead leg.
Well, I was just about to say, Danny, for us watching, this is probably the most measured traditional style bout so far of the night.
You can't come out blazing like that, especially if you're going to fight in Thailand, especially if you're going to fight full Thai rules and fight 5 3-minute rounds. I'll challenge any man to set that pace for 5 rounds as well. But so obviously they're setting themselves up to be professionals and fight under A-class rules when they're fighting under C-class. This isn't where they want to finish up. They want to be at the top. They want to be on the main card later on in their lives.
Well, the pace picking up here in the second, and I like the boxing technique from Charlie Needham, working upstairs and downstairs as we've seen before. And just as I say that, Buddha Limbo comes back at him, Danny.
Yeah, he's trying some more fancy kicks. He's not checking the kicks. Look, he's just treading through them, putting his leg firmly on the floor and bending his knee. He fires a very good low kick back himself. When I looked at the size of his legs, I thought this is going to be the kicker, but he's not blocking low kicks.
So 2 rounds down, and how do you see that, Danny? In many ways it's very close, I feel.
Yeah, of course, not too much between them. Judges will be looking for some clean scored shots. They're not going to score too highly with the low kicks, but they want to see effective shots. He's been a little bit more active in the blue corner, but I wouldn't like to call it between them at the moment.
And again, you talk about the effective shots and the scoring. It has been low kicks or boxing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Overall between the two of them.
Boxing low kick, which is very kickboxing. Under, like, as they call it, the K1 rule set, which I can't stand that K1 rule set myself as standard. It's kickboxing to me. K1's obviously an event, but people do talk about it under K1 rule set where they fight 3-3s.
That's what I was trying to say. If you came into this without knowing, you could almost say that was a low kick kickboxing bout at the moment as it stands.
Definitely, that was a kickboxing opening to this fight. But don't forget, this is C-class Muay Thai, and as I said earlier, these guys will be looking to work their way up B-class and then work to full Thai rules, professional Thai boxing. So
well, what's intrigued me, Danny, what's intrigued me is no clinches yet, 2 clean rounds in terms of no clinch. So both men must feel comfortable at this range and thinking they have the edge. And we've not even seen really the coming in for the knees. We have seen, as you said, almost pure kickboxing. It's like both men happy to trade punches, happy to kick, happy at that range. And yet the full tools we haven't really seen utilised yet, even at C-class level.
No, Limbo just took a low kick shot a little bit below the waist there. But you're right, they're fighting under like kickboxing at the moment where they're trying to step in. This wouldn't be out of place in a kickboxing bout at all.
And as I say that, it's almost, again, Dan, it's almost like they heard they're into the clinch and finally we get the knees going.
Yeah, now gone close, and you notice he's tried to turn Limbo twice there, but Limbo planted his feet. Earlier on in the show we saw someone thrown over too easily. Limbo spread his legs wide, planted his feet, and he's not going to be thrown anywhere.
Because the reason I mention that is we've seen earlier that when a plan isn't going to plan, that some fighters have changed superbly to the clinch and won the fight because of it, and that is an extra tool in your box that both these men only just started to use here in round 3.
Yeah, over the period of a fight, especially when you're fighting a C-class, you'd want to try and utilise all your skills in there. It's the art of 8 limbs. Obviously you can't use your elbow, but the corners will not be over concerned with the fight record here, to be honest with you. Obviously everyone wants the win and you'll be going for the win, but the bigger picture is to see if these fighters got the attributes to step up and be superstars on Yokkao of the future.
And that's a good point, Danny, because in so many disciplines, like the win is all. A boxing career can be ruined with 2 losses in a row and they go, right, that guy's out of there. But because this is such a complex, difficult, and I feel the toughest sport in the world, you're given more leeway, you're building, and even the great Thais, you look at their record and it says 300 fights with 200 wins. That means 100 losses, but no one cares.
I'm going to stand up very tall now, Malcolm, with my Muay Thai t-shirt on, and I'm going to say that boxing is completely different to Muay Thai. There's no easy routes through. The organisation of Muay Thai, especially in the UK and across, is absolutely superb. It's a massive model. There's no easy fights. They don't give you journeyman. There's no such thing in the Muay Thai, and that's no criticism of the boxing, but you do often see people very, very well looked after going through their careers. Some superstars that you know have been kept away from anyone that can give them a decent punch. In Muay Thai, there's no easy route.
That's the point I was making, Danny. When you look at the Muay Thai superstars, even the legends, you never get these 100% records. They've been fighting since the age of 8. They've been learning, as you said, everything is difficult. And even the greatest fighters in this discipline have got what boxers would consider possibly a horrendous number of losses.
Yep, that's right. It's the best fighters in the world have got a lot of losses on their records. If you haven't got a lot of losses in Muay Thai on your record, or at least some, you're fighting the wrong people.
And as we say that, I'm glad to say the pace in this bout, Danny, as we thought in traditional Thai, has moved up, and both men now in round 4 here are really going for it, and that's another low blow, sadly, took the pace out of that.
Big exchange of punches there, Malcolm, and then they both nodded at each other as if to say, yeah, let's have it. I think this is setting up to be a good bout now.
And you saw there, our referee Jesse questioned if that one was low, because he said to Buddha, come on, let's keep going. Which in my mind says the referee thought, no, that's borderline at most.
I think he thought there wasn't a lot in it. It wasn't powerful enough to trouble him.
And again, the crowd are a good indicator the way this bout picked up in round 4. Hard to hear ourselves think for that round. The crowd recognised it as well, a very knowledgeable crowd here, and they saw the way they brought up their game in round 4. And as we said in Thai boxing, these two men are a perfect example. Round 3 got better, round 4 was very intense. I think we're going to get an incredible round 5 here.
Yeah, round 4, the money round of Muay Thai, of course. These guys want to make an impression. They have to come out and they have to go gunslinging, they really do. I hope they do it in round 5.
So Danny, 5th and final round of an intriguing contest. Just to recap, over the 4 previous rounds, if you were judging this, where would you be erring to with this final round?
Well, there's a reason some people are meant to sit in the commentary box, Malcolm, and some people are meant to sit on the judges' chairs. I think Blue's a little bit ahead for me at the moment. Just a little bit more competent in his skills, better with his boxing, and a bit more creative. But I'm sure the judges are seeing stuff that we're not as well.
Yeah,
we're into the excitement, aren't we, Malcolm?
We are, and that's it.
And
do you know
this crowd more than
that's it. Do you know what, Danny? Sometimes people have said to me, you know, how did you score that one? And like you, because you're commentating and you're giving a play-by-play analysis, you get caught up in the moment, and then you suddenly have to stop and think and go, who do I think is winning this?
Well,
because we're only human. We've got the best seats in the house,
yep,
and we enjoy what we're doing. And when you're watching a good fight, you can get involved in it, whereas the judges have got to take that step back and stay clinical.
They can't be a part of the crowd. They've got a very hard job, judges, and
whereas we can soak up the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not often, to be honest, but sometimes in great fights I've really had to take a step back and re-evaluate, just like now, what I'm seeing.
Good right hand there, and a good high kick as well. Running away with it for me is Needham now from the Warriors gym. But like I say, the judges always...
And as I said earlier, yep, Danny and I can tell how the pace has stepped up, because the crowd now, we're having to get right to our microphones because they're really behind both fighters, and we were right. The 5th and final round, excellent pace. I agree with you, Danny. I think overall, with the technique and the impression that he gave, that Blue will take this, but it was a really good bout, and I like the way, compared to our previous bout, they worked through the gears in this one, didn't they?
They moved through the gears. There was points in the fight where I'd like to have seen him laid more on the line. But I'm a very hard man to please in the commentary box, Malcolm. But I've taken the opportunity well, and I think Needham did very well towards the end of that fight as well.
Measure for both men in the ring after 5 hard rounds. But we do have a unanimous decision of judges in favour of the blue corner, Charlie Needham.